In the neighborhood. Doc, we have one hell of a group here today. Would you be mine? Would you be mine? My neighbor.
The Sessions, what a time to be reviewing a film like this during the height of popularity of a show like Adolescence. What I find so comparable here is Adolescence kind of showing the dangers of, you know, toxic masculinity and these unrealistic expectations for men in society in the early half of life. And this is kind of the result of that, right? The violence and darkness that is at home in all of these men is something that must have been brewing for a very, very long time, since they were quite young. So I think both examine that in really interesting, thoughtful, and in this case, particularly cinematic ways. The flashbacks here are intelligently utilized to expand upon each individual story, and it's pretty incredible actually how much narrative is able to be handled and covered in just 27 minutes. Really impressively done.
The Sessions, I absolutely found this fascinating. I really, really, really enjoyed this. I thought this was so interesting, and I love the concept of group therapy in like storytelling, especially because it's a way to bring a bunch of different personalities together and put them into a situation where they have to talk about things and tell stories and rehash things that they, wouldn't necessarily normally do. And I really in general like a group therapy setting, because I think that you can do a lot with it when it comes to storytelling. And I think that it's a great tool, or it's a great, way to push characters and establish people. But beyond all of that, I really, really enjoyed the fact that, like, because it was group therapy but in a prison, it added another layer to that, because these people obviously all know each other because they're in prison together, so they're quite literally forced to be around each other. But you have something like a step beyond that, where when it's something like taking all of them through their murders, I thought was great. I thought that was so much fun, and it really showed you the different kind of personalities and the different dynamics that develop within the group, because the group is kind of already pre-established, but obviously they have some new people. I think that the therapist was new, and or some new other people within the group. And getting to go through all of that and like forcing them to kind of tell their own stories to a certain extent, I thought was really, really, really well done. I think part of the reason that I also really enjoy this is maybe because my dad's a therapist, and so I think that this is like a fun way to kind of embrace therapy in a, slightly slightly out of the box crazy way. Obviously I hope that no therapists actually get killed with some sort of ice pick, but I did find it really fun, and that like they, foiled his plans with like the details of, what he was asking, how he's behaving, but really it was his shoes the whole time. So I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really well done and really, really great.
Questions. Excellent job. I was intrigued by this project right from the opening because, first of all, the production design is terrific. It looks very professional. The performances are top notch, very good. But what really stands out is the story, because once we see these inmate men talking about the crimes they have committed and why, it gets very intense, very introspective, and it offers a unique look on why people like this man commit crimes, why they kill people, the pressure they feel from society or their partners or their families, or the betrayal. And it's terrifying, but it's an amazing exploration of human conduct. But then it gets even better because it takes a completely unexpected turn when the doctor turns out to be one of the inmates. I didn't see that coming. The ending is mind-blowing good. And again, there's a lot of strong performances here, but the one that really stuck out was this guy, let's call him the bad guy, because he was so intense, he was so committed, I was terrified by him. What an amazing actor, he was excellent. So yeah, pretty good piece, pretty good film, and keep up the good work.
This film really captures the attention. It goes into the psyche of hardened criminals that have murdered people. And the most psycho of them all can point out that the doctor's not really the doctor. He observes, he watches people, he knows who feels guilt for their crimes and who doesn't because he lacks remorse. It's really a great written character. He's well developed. We love bad guys like this because they keep the attention on them. We love when they can observe things, that they're cold-hearted, but they're very interesting at the same time because they're the one that drives the story. We kind of knew that the doctor wasn't who he said he was. There was just something off about him, something suspicious based on the score, but you weren't quite sure what. And this guy, the crazy guy that was singing the Mr. Rogers song, you kind of got a feeling that he knew something, but not quite what. It was really interesting. This is a great film. It really delved into the psyche of murderers. Showed that some are cold-blooded, some are not, some lack a soul, and others just like messing with people. It really shows a whole bunch of different approaches, and really hiring a woman to deal with these men is probably best because there's a very hard chance that these men aren't going to be able to mimic a woman. They won't be able to get a wig. They won't be able to actually mimic her movements to be able to kill her and work with and mimic her as a psychologist, whereas a man was able to be murdered. It really went full circle within the story.
This film is called The Sessions. This is a brilliant and creepy short film. What sets it apart for me are the revelations of the characters' backstories one by one, to let the viewer know why they were all there. The performances of each of the characters were so well defined. I love the creepy soundtrack that builds and builds as the plot unfolds. The film has a One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest feel, given the direction and pace. The cool surprise ending was awesome. I wish the best for this talented group. Well done.